How did you feel when Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara were brought over?
Well, we thought that they were going to turn things, help the mid-card guys, which is what they did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they came in and immediately they just like, if you're on the card, we're trying to put you in a storyline, no matter who you are. If you're on the show or if you're part of the roster, we got to give you a storyline. And it was just different because, like, you know, WCW, we weren't shooting backstage back then before they came in. So now we had to produce stuff backstage because that's the way they did it in New York. You know what I'm saying? So it just changed the whole culture of how shows are written today, and that's how they are written today. You know, the camera's just there, and we just shoot like with the suspension of disbelief, knowing that the camera's there. And we just Ed was funny, so me and Conan and Ed and stuff, we hit it off, you know, immediately. Russo, I sat next to him on a plane one time, and we just started picking each other's brains for like a 2-hour trip. And a couple weeks later, they asked me to sit on booking meetings. So
was he in coach?
Huh?
Was he in coach?
Yeah, he was in coach. Yeah, they had to play. Yeah, we were the. I'll never forget. We were the first seat behind first class, sitting right there, and it was I think he was like a standby or something, and he came and said there was one empty seat right next to me, and he sat next to me.
Okay.
And we just started picking. We just picked our brains for like 2 hours. You know, we had identical views on the business. You know, that like the show is 2 hours of TV. You can do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into wrestling. You can just do whatever you want for 2 hours of television. There's no rule book. You know.
Yeah. So
we thought the same way, and so the next thing you know, he's asked me to sit on booking meetings. So.
And how did you like that?
This is fun. It's me, Ed, Terry, Taylor, Borash would sit in. Bill Banks sometimes would sit in, but and Vince, and it was just funny because they were fun sometimes. When you get writer's block, it's not fun. You know, there were periods of time where you just be like literally just sitting there for everybody's just in silence. Can't really think of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just sitting there, and I was funny too because like I was comedic. Like I'll never forget this one time. It's like I've told this story a million times, but like I'll tell it again. We're sitting there for like 2 straight minutes, just nobody's thinking of anything, and I'm like, how about this? Let's shoot a shot of an empty locker room for 30 seconds, and at the end, coming soon, the Invisible Man. And bro, everybody just popped, and like we laugh, and like everybody crack up, and then we just start throwing weird stuff out there. You just start start talking about weird, and then you just start get back in start getting back into booking the show. It's just like I was an outside the box thinker. I'd always come, and I wouldn't necessarily want these on the show, but I would just think crazy stuff, like funny stuff, just to pop the room. Because once you start laughing, you just start thinking differently. You just start thinking comedy, and then like you start thinking comedy, then you start thinking funny stuff you can do, then you turn that into serious stuff. It just sparks your intelligence, sparks your creative thought.
Were you paid extra for that?
Nah.
No.
But no, well, sort of. They started giving my when we travel, because here's the thing: I come home from the road, and it was right around the corner from my house. We'd meet at a hotel in a conference room, and the meeting would take like 6-7 hours, right? And they'd feed us and stuff. But I was getting my they started paying for my cars and rooms on the road. Okay, so theoretically that adds up. You know what I'm saying? Like they're paying me to go to a booking meeting for 6 hours, and I'm getting the equivalent of maybe like maybe 1,000. $1,200 to $1,500 worth of extra stuff every week that I would be paying for, or so that was like I guess I did make more, because now I was getting office amenities and stuff. So
did you get any heat backstage from jealous wrestlers?
No, not heat. The only time I got heat was when like one of the guys Chavo didn't like an angle one time and started yelling at me in front of everybody, and but he came and apologized to me afterwards. But no, they liked it because they knew I was going to bat for the mid card guys. Like I was talking, I would be with the guys. Like, hey, I'm gonna ask if I can do this with you, And I'd throw stuff out there, trying because they were my friends, People, well, not my friends. They were kind of like my peers. Yeah. Like they're all mid card guys, and I know they're not doing nothing with you. Hey, what Hey, I would tell Vince, try this with this guy.
Yeah.
Try this with this guy. Let this guy do this. This guy's entertaining. Or give Ernest Miller the mic. You know what I'm saying? This guy can talk. He can run his mouth. Just give him the mic and let him go. You know, and they start doing it, and just stuff like that. So they're nobody really. If I had heat, nobody ever came and told me, "Hey, you got a lot of heat for doing this."
Right.
You know, because I wasn't booking myself in anything spectacular. You know, so I was just trying to help out. You know, I was just trying to I was a buffer in between mid card guys that they really didn't know anything about because they've never interacted with these people, and like Vince and Ed. So.